episode 6.
We are here, yes, for our monthly book chat.
Mm,
It's like March book chat. Yeah, we're in
March.
March now.
Oh
Or
God, it's
we,
good.
yeah.
So yeah, we're in March.
We was talking about this the other day with someone else, and me and you were talking about it, weren't we? About how like, oh no, maybe it was my other half. How because the dates are all the same in February and March. Like every date falls on the same day of the week, doesn't
Oh,
it?
does it?
They
I've
like
no
mirror
idea.
when it's like just a 28-day February. It gets
Makes
really
sense.
confusing when you're planning stuff sometimes, and it all
It's
like,
always the Friday.
yeah, it's like Friday the whatever, and then you're like, but February or March? What are we in? I don't know. It's gone so fast.
Blink and it will be June. I
Yeah,
think is the
exactly.
way things are going at the minute.
Yeah, yeah, it will be. Yeah. So the idea again is to talk a bit about stuff that's been floating around in the romance
In the
community.
ether.
And yeah, just some little updates for ourselves, what we're reading and what might be coming out. I think we both have because a lot of similar topics crop up very often
They do.
in the romance community, and they're not always very positive ones, unfortunately. Um, I've noticed that the things that we're picking out now are going to lean towards the more quirky and more like offbeat stuff, maybe
Well,
the
yeah,
news.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably keeping away from the news is always, we can try and put a good spin on the news if we see it. But yeah, we
this
can
is
we
it.
can bring the light and
Yes.
the dark.
That's it. So, yeah, the first thing we go for is what are you reading or what have you been reading at the
Okay.
moment?
So, I have a book that I saw in Forbidden Planet a while ago, and I was
Mm.
gonna buy it, and I don't know why I didn't, but yeah, it got lost in the ether. So I bought it on my Kindle, so I do have it now, and it is The Last Raven by Helen Gwynne Jones.
Oh, I've seen that
So,
one. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so I have it now. I saw the cover and I was like, oh, this is so pretty. But yeah, we got Children London sidetracked, and we couldn't, so I went and found it on my Kindle. So
Hmm.
that is my next read.
Cool. Is that a YA one? I
It
feel
very
like
well could be.
yeah, I think I had it on my list and it was YA, so I wasn't
I wasn't as
prioritizing it
drawn
for
towards it.
like podcast reading because we don't
Mm,
always do those. But
no,
let
we
me know
don't.
how it is because
I
that
shall.
that's been on my wish list.
Oh,
So I shall see my wish. Yeah,
yes.
I just
It's,
keep a list in Amazon of like, oh, I see
oh,
that book. That looks good. Put it on the list.
do
Don't
you just
buy
have
it straight away just because
do
it's
you just have
99p.
one list though? Because I've got like books in a series I'm awaiting, books I want to buy, books that are on my pre-order. I have so many Amazon lists for books.
I don't yet, but now you've said that,
And
that
I
sounds like a
do. It's
smart
so much
idea.
easier. Oh, it really does.
Mm,
I've read this one. Where's the next one? Oh, it's not out till next year. Add it to the series list.
see, I'm I'm so much of a mood reader though, so I kind of go in on and also I like check it each month to see if anything's in the deal. So if it's been floating around and I'm like, oh, I still wanted that one and
Get
I'm
it.
in the mood for it, I'll
Get
grab it
it.
now. But equally, I'm trying not to buy more books when I don't need them. I have a lot of books. I haven't yet done my
Have you not?
response posts for the Tom Hiddleston
For your
pile.
height thing, yeah.
Because yeah, my number of books that I like, my ebooks that I haven't read, they're a bit bigger than your number.
I was going to say, if you're going to find physical books to make the height like I did, be careful of your cat because
Yes.
Jesus, I was move out of the way.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
got two. It was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm not going to be able to do that. There's no point. I will just stack up my physical TBR that I actually have and I'll measure that and
yeah.
then I can work it out and let you know about the other thing because no, I appreciate the spreadsheet work though. I love that. I love
Yes,
seeing
it was.
spreadsheet work. That
Oh,
was cool.
yeah, you didn't see the hidden columns that added up totals and things. I did
Ooh,
mathsy stuff. It was weird. I don't know
nice.
what happened. I had a moment. But
You'll be doing like color code conditioning and stuff when you read it. You go,
okay, well, yeah,
put this value, and then
I'll have
it
little
turns the
snippets in.
whole thing into a different color. It's like, oh,
Wow.
satisfying.
Oh, you're having a moment now.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
what about you?
dear.
What are you reading, or what are you set to read?
At the moment, well, we've got some books that we're reading for the podcast, obviously.
Well,
They're
yes.
like on the bubble. Um, but I'm reading I got an arc of the new Emily Henry one. So for some
Ooh.
reason I have pleased the gods and I always get an arc for Emily Henry, which is so good because they're always good books. So I've started that, which is a contemporary romance, obviously. Um, and I just finished, I was telling you about, there was a book that annoyed me greatly.
Yes.
I won't mention the name of it, but it was a time slip, right?
Okay.
And in theory, it should have really worked. And some of the bits I liked. I find in some ways I get more wound up by books that almost hit the mark with me than ones that I just start and I'm like, oh, this just isn't my cup of tea. And then you just like, okay, that's fine, move on. But ones that you're almost there with, but then they just do
Yeah.
different things to what you want. And it was time slip and it was how they decided to wrap up the thing. You know, when we did the trope one about time travel and we were talking about how there's always like a sacrifice about where someone
Yes.
stays in the past or in the future. And they just really went for something that didn't feel right.
Mhm.
Like they can just portal back and forth
Oh,
between the two
okay.
times. And it felt like,
How
well,
does
there's no conflict there. I don't get this.
See, then I'd imagine it's a bit like Back to the Future that they'd port back and then all of a sudden dinosaurs wouldn't exist anymore, but then they'd port forward again and then everything's
Yeah.
fine.
And that was the annoying thing. Like that rule didn't really apply either. He'd kind of gone back and he'd been like, oh, I mustn't say too much because that's always the thing that is. But it's like, and then she was from the historical time,
Oh, okay.
but she
Mm.
decided she didn't want to because it seemed to me logical. He can go back. They found a way that she could go with him,
Uh-huh.
possibly. Why would you not just move to modern times?
Oh, God, yes.
And but I mean, she had her friends and stuff like that, and it's like that's fair enough. But still, you could pop back to spend your however many
Have
months
a cup of
back home
tea.
and then
Yeah.
die because you were just like so they could only move through at particular times in the year, like you know, like when the ley
When the moon
lines
is
are
full. Yeah.
activated and stuff like that. So you would be stuck. It's not like you could get a disease and go, oh, I better pop back to modern age to
Yeah.
get some medicine. No, you're fucked if
Yeah.
you're there.
Yeah.
Why would you
Dysentery's
risk
not great.
that?
Yeah.
Why would you? I don't
Yeah.
know. It just, do you know what I mean? That's why it was winding me up. And then, like, the fact they
Yeah.
were moving back and forth, and then he did something, and I couldn't buy it at all that he hadn't heard of this thing. Yeah, it was so close. There were nice bits about it, and it was fun. But at the same time, I was like, no, that doesn't. Why? Why would you choose to live in a time where you
What?
can't
Oh,
get
you can't
coffee
leave
at
the house without having to
Starbucks? And
worry. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Look up in case somebody throws a chamber pot over you.
yeah. I don't know. And especially as a woman making that choice,
Oh,
like it's
God,
not
yeah.
like living back then was great, you know.
Yeah.
I
Or
mean, I
like
know it's
living
not
now is not
fabulous.
brilliant.
Yeah, this is it. But like when you're comparing the two, at least
Yeah.
you'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
We
bit
have a
more
little, we
freedom.
can vote. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can drive.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Okay.
Choices. And then there was
Yeah.
the other historical novel that somebody recommended and sent me a lovely gift of,
I put
which
post-its
was
in.
fun.
There were
I
hints
know.
and notes.
It was awesome. You knew I was going to look underneath the.
Of course, I knew you were gonna like. That's why I put a post-it on the front and inside at the bit where it
Yeah,
happened.
that was what made me laugh because you put it inside. I wasn't expecting one on the actual page.
I know you're not gonna listen. It's here. Just
Yeah. So for anybody that is listening, and they will probably know what we're talking about, if they've read it, it's Suddenly You by Lisa Kleypas because we love a bit of Lisa Kleypas.
oh
She's
yeah, oh,
awesome,
it's my
but there
favorite.
were some questionable things that happened in that novel.
Yeah, just the last kind of so many percent of the book,
Yeah,
and I
but
love. It's
that's
my
one of your
favorite.
favorite. Is that
It's my
literally your
favorite.
favorite?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I just love the way at the beginning that she's all flustered when she's ordered him in,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sorry, spoilers. It's the first two
That's the
chapters, and I
premise.
just
It's fine.
yeah, and I loved that the way she was there, and then she was still kick ass with it, and he's just kind of like, yeah, cool, let's go with this, and yeah, oh,
Yeah,
I did, I enjoyed it.
it was. It was a great start, and it was interesting, like different kind of dynamic and everything
Mm.
going through it. But yeah, you went a bit woo woo at the
It
end. I was
at
like,
the end, it
oh,
went a bit interesting. I don't
yeah.
even like raspberries either. Just
I wouldn't now.
I wouldn't now.
It would have put me off them. But what a choice at
Yeah,
that timing as well. I was like, woof,
yeah.
no, don't think so.
I know nothing about yeast infections about them.
Yes.
Anyway,
So yeah, that's been the reading fun
that's
that's
been
been
the
going
reading.
on. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. Um,
Mm.
are there any books coming out in March that are on your radar that you've seen on your book list that you've been looking at?
Um, there isn't because I'm gonna just shameless, because I have one here
Oh.
that is due out soon
Ah,
in
I should have
March.
written that down. I'm so,
Is
so
it not on your
dumb. I didn't
list?
do that. No, I'm not looking forward to that one. I've heard it's rubbish.
Yeah, this is my new book that is
Yeah. Plug it, plug it.
my new book is out on the 14th of March. The cover is
Yes.
revealed on the is it the 14th or the 11th? No, I think it's the
I think you
11th
changed it to
now.
the
I
11th.
think I changed it to the
Even
11th.
sooner. Yeah.
In even sooner, and the cover will be revealed on the 4th. So at the minute,
Yes.
I have been doing that. So my looking for
Okay.
others has not
Oh,
been.
it will be
Oh,
today. When this goes out,
is it?
it will be today. So if you're
Ah,
listening, then
go and have a
can
look.
you can run off and have a look, have a
Have a look,
read.
see.
It's awesome. It's so fun. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
everybody loves
lying. The
Van.
reason I didn't think about it is because I've already read
Emma's
it.
been there and done that, and
Love Fan. So
ah,
good.
everybody loves Van.
Yes. But there's lots of other really cool stuff in it too.
Mm,
Yes. Um, yeah, definitely. People need to get
so
onto that.
yeah,
It's the
please,
second book in
second in
Jess's
the
series
series.
as well. Yeah. And the other one is available too if you are a kind of person who
If
wants to read the first book before the second book. It does
if
help.
if you are right and you want to read them in order, if you're
Yeah.
not, then I have put a story so far in the front of the book.
Yeah. You did. You
I
did a
did. I have
little
written it. This is what
cap at the
happened.
front.
Yeah,
Nice. Nice.
for other people, just in case you're that
Oh,
kind of.
it's just helpful anyway, because if
Mm,
you read it a while ago and you're trying
yes.
to remember
Yeah.
like the
Remember what
pertinent
the?
points,
Yeah.
like
Who's what
the
where now?
important things tend to escape me sometimes when I'm going into the like, oh yeah, there was that
But
thing that happened.
weirdly, so did they with me, and I wrote the things.
Yeah.
Did I
Yeah,
do
it
that?
is quite useful.
Damn.
You should write your recap now for when you're going
For
into
this one.
writing
Yeah.
book three. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
Yes. Well, other than that awesome book, I
Mm.
also saw that there are a couple of books coming out that are by authors we've talked about on the podcast before as well. So
Ooh.
you've got Go Luck Yourself, which is the second in the series, the Nightmare Before Christmas one that I talked about.
Ah, yes.
So it's like a St. Patrick's Day one, basically.
Hey.
Yeah, it's like
Are they leprechaun?
is he?
It's got to be a
I
leprechaun.
think he is. I think one of the love interests is one. It's Nick's Nicholas's brother who was in it. You know, he had a. Were they twins? I see what I mean. I can't remember.
Yeah.
He had a brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, who was all like unrequited love for somebody, and it wasn't happening.
Oh,
But then there's a new love interest come along, so in the shape of a leprechaun, or at least linked
love
to
it.
that time. Um, There's Fable for the End of the World, which is a dystopian by Ava Reid, who I really enjoy. I like Ava Reid books. And I Am Made of Death by Kelly Andrew. She did The Whisper in Dark. There was
Yes.
another one she had out as well, which I haven't read yet. Um, they all sound so, they're so awesome and dark
Just
and
with a title
yeah,
like that.
I
Come
love it.
on.
That one I don't think that one, I Am Made of Death, is a romance though. I think there's romance in the second one she wrote, which I don't know, then I can't think of the name of. Um, and then I've got another one which I don't think is romance. but it really looks cool. It's called The Serpent Called Mercy by Rowan Lau, and it's like gladiatorial with dragons and lots of like backstabbing and twist. It sounds really good. That's out on the
Always need a dragon.
27th of March. So yeah. See, this is my problem. I'm
You know,
like,
these books that,
I know
yeah,
I
you
want these
weren't going to put on your
books,
list.
but don't buy them until you can actually read them. Maybe. Unless
You,
you find them in a deal, but this is the problem. This
well,
is why I have far, far too many books on
well,
my
yeah,
Kindle.
you are not made of death. Therefore, one day you will die. You have to read them. Read the book. Buy
Yes.
the books. Have
Read
the
the
books.
books, buy the books. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. There's lots out there though.
Yeah, you can because Jessica said so. Everybody, there you go. That's
Yeah. If
why
you're
you put the books
listening
because Jessica said so.
and you know of other books that are coming out in March that we've missed, it's surprisingly hard to find a list of books that are like in a particular genre, like then they're coming out this month. You can
Yeah,
go on Goodreads, but what I found was going on Goodreads was that it was very much geared to books I'd already read. So in
yeah,
our profile on Goodreads, where we just update for the ones we've included on the podcast, it just concentrates all on that. So it's like, oh, so you're not picking up new things or
yeah. You
things
want
we
the
might
other
have
things as
read.
well.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's it. I want to know all of it because clearly I need even more books to
Yeah,
add
clearly I've
to
got
my
nothing
wish
better to
list.
do with
Yeah.
my day.
Yes. So that's all the book chat, I guess. And now it's like
The
the
other chat.
bookish chat
Okay,
stuff.
start with the book. Go bookish, and then we'll go off on even
Yes.
more tangents.
Yeah. So, I obviously the start of February was still quite saturated by the smut debacle stuff, because there was a publisher that had
Ooh,
used it, um, had decided to advertise themselves with a hashtag of like sick of smut.
what?
Yeah, like
Pardon?
they really went in on that. And it's again, like we said in the last episode that we did like this, it's like, look, there's something for everybody out
Really, there
there.
is.
There
Oh,
really, really, really is. I mean, aside from the fact that I don't know, a lot of the books that people are calling smart are just not
no,
smart.
at
There's
all.
nothing wrong with smart. Find the smart, enjoy the smart if that's what you want to read.
If that floats your
But a
boat.
lot of the books that are being labeled smart are just not smart as
Yeah.
well. They're like 5% of a
That's
bit
just
of a
the S.
romance. You
Yeah,
know what
you
I
have an
mean?
S in your.
It's
You
a
need the rest of
sn.
the mutt. Yeah, you're a sn.
Yeah. And all the other stuff is awesome too. It's just
Yes.
yeah. But
So, have you seen that woman on TikTok or the video where it goes, I'm reading smut, 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 smut. Have you
oh,
seen that?
I love
Yeah.
her songs. Yeah,
Yes.
she's
Yeah.
great.
We just need to put those on all of the things. She needs one to do for
Yeah.
every
It's
level.
I think it's really tricky, isn't it? Because it's like we find so much fun and like obviously anyone who's listened to us on the podcast, we have a lot of a laugh about like smutty things.
Yes.
The humor is very, small boy at
Puerile.
school. Yeah. So, but it doesn't like the other half of what we're talking about is how good the books are and the
Yes.
relationships in the books and the world building in the books. And it's like just because we can have a giggle and find the fun in that and like do your little kicky feet at like the romance, you know,
Yes.
it doesn't mean that the books are good,
No,
you know?
this is the whole point. It just adds to it. It's an
Yeah.
extra, it's the cherry on top of the giant
Mm.
sundae.
But I think because like people from the outside looking in on the romance community see everyone kind of chatting about that side of it because that's like a fun bit to have a laugh about
But
and enjoy. They
but that
think
is
that they assume that that's all it is, you
but this is
know?
the thing. That's the thing that sells. When we talk about what we're going to do in
Mm.
number 8,
Yeah,
it's the thing that pulls everybody else in who are not
yeah,
just the readery people
that's
who will
true.
go, oh, actually, that sounds really
Hmm.
interesting. I might actually pick the book up. So, ah, yeah,
And
who
why
is
is it that the smut in like fantasy romance or romance books, that's the only place it's looked down upon when it's like saturated into absolutely everything else that
yeah,
sex sells, and no one is complaining about that in
huh?
any other realm, you
No,
know?
just in ours.
I don't know. But
If it
anyway,
was a real realm, we'd come at you with a dragon. So maybe think
yeah,
about it.
yeah, that's it.
Mm.
Okay. What else was there? There was a thing about one of, I think it was Simon and Schuster in America saying that they're not going to use blurbs on their books anymore.
Yes, you
Now,
said.
yeah, now that's not, so immediately my mind thinks, well, how will anyone know what it's about? But that's because I think of the blurb as being the synopsis.
Yes.
I used to call it the synopsis in my head, but blurb kind of took over. But what they're actually talking about is author endorsements.
Oh,
So, like,
okay.
when you pick up a book and it's like, so and so said, you've managed to get like some amazing author
Yeah,
to
to write on
read
the front of
it
your
and
book.
say something really lovely about it, and you can
Oh,
advertise it on your book. They're getting rid of that because
okay.
a lot of the pressure of that was actually on authors to go out and find people. And, and on the other side of it, then that puts pressures on the like particularly the really popular authors who are like selling masses. They must just have stacks
Yeah.
to go through that they can't do. So I don't know. Does that do they ever sell it to you? Like if you pick up a book and you see that an author that you like, say if it was Ruby Dixon or something, had read it and said, "Oh, this is all like this is the best thing I've read this year." Would that sell it to you, or was
No,
it still no? That doesn't to me
I don't.
either.
I don't even notice. If it's a really nice cover, usually I'm like, oh, what did you put that on the front for? So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm one of those sort of people.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
no.
it's the
Did it
same.
for
I've
you? Is it? Yeah, I've never.
No, no, not really. I've
Yeah.
always kind of, I mean, I have
It
done
must be
them for
nice.
people
Yeah,
and I
for
have had people do them for me. And as an author, it's been so amazing when I've had an author that, I love their book and they've read mine and they've enjoyed it and been happy to endorse it. That's been so cool for me personally, but I don't think it really makes that much difference to
no.
people in terms of whether they pick it up. It's still about the story, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, well, yeah, this is it. I don't know if unless it's a very good friend who's kind of done it, and I was like, oh God, Emma's put a thing on the front of this book. I'll have a look at it. But it will then
Yeah.
be in my TikTok messages and my Messenger messages and in my Instagram
Yeah,
messages.
well, I
Emma's
told her
told me
anyway.
about
Yeah.
this book, so it's
That's
fine.
fine. You don't need to wait for it to be on the
I
front
don't
of
need
a
to wait for that
book.
one.
Yeah. It's
But
me
yeah,
just
no,
harassing someone sticking stuff on their books. This is good. I'm just
yeah.
sticking this here because I want Jess to read
Do you
it.
know what I would enjoy more if somebody
Mm.
actually, just a person, please don't do it if you get you in trouble, made stickers of random things like saying this is fucking awesome and just stuck it on the front. I would enjoy that
Well,
much more. Just a reader coming up and doing that.
yeah. You do get that in Waterstones in a way, don't you? They have the little reader.
Oh, you have, yeah, the staff
Yeah,
who've read the books.
the staff, yeah. And sometimes it's just like people who frequent it as well, I think. They'll
Oh,
have
is
like
it?
some.
Ah,
I thought
yeah.
it was, but
I'd want
maybe
it
not.
just to be like 2 word things like, yeah, dog's bollocks or
Yeah,
something. And
yeah,
just stick it on.
that's it. Just straight to the point. You'd be like,
Yeah.
"Ooh,
What?
okay,
Oh, read
that'll
that.
do." Yeah. So, in from that's the podcast's official opinion. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not gospel, but
Whatever. You want to keep doing
yeah,
them,
you
but
keep doing it.
it's not going to make a difference
Yeah,
to
it
me,
doesn't tick all the
really.
boxes for people, so it's fine.
Yeah. Um, we kind of missed out, and it felt like a big whoopsies. Uh, Talking about Pharaoh Feb
Mm,
last month, didn't
yes, we
we?
did.
It was like, why? Why did we forget? I don't know.
No. It kind of because I think it when you first find it, it's a massive deal, but then it just kind of
Yeah.
falls into the day to day of things, and
Yeah.
it's coming
I
like
mean,
Nano when that
mm,
was a thing that everybody wanted to do. Now it's just a big fire.
yes.
Sorry.
Yes. No, 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 no.
Yeah, there's just yeah.
Move
But
on.
yeah, so it just kind of falls into the day
Yeah.
to day of things. So it kind of yeah.
Yeah. And I think because we follow it.
Mm.
So yeah, Pharaoh Feb is like if nobody's come across it before, um, it's a bunch of fantasy romance authors that work together and they let you know about releases that are happening. And in February, they do like particular special events. But if you're following them on social media, you'll see that they're always doing something. They're
This is
always
it. Yeah.
highlighting an author or a particular subgenre, and letting you know about deals and things. So I think that's why it kind of like
Yeah, it is just a day-to-day thing now that
Yeah, like I'm always seeing their posts and screenshotting them to
yeah,
go off and
yes.
look up all of the books that they're
Yes.
talking about. And I
You're doing the
found
Lord's work
a
for us.
lot
It's all
through
good.
there. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, and what I did notice though is that they've launched a little magazine.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, which I
Ah.
need to look into. I meant to do it before we did the podcast, but I just ran out of time. Um, and I think the idea of it is it's sort of almost like a magazine as if you are a fantasy romance character. So it's
Oh,
like to you, I think that's the gist I got. But it's yeah, that's definitely worth going off and
yeah, I
having
was
a
going to
look
say
at,
you're
I
selling
think.
that with yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be very cool. Yes. So, um, that's kind of like the more newsy, like serious part.
Mhm,
Now we've got like some of the more silly things.
mhm.
Not silly, but you know. Yeah, Jess brought to my attention something. This
I
kind of goes with our smut talk, I
It
guess.
really does. When you're chatting about it, I had a moment of thinking, okay, this is hitting my feed. Is everybody going to go, oh God, Jessica, what the hell's hitting your feed? But you know what? This is probably the tamest thing that people think that I get. So,
Yeah.
okay, so I got an advert from Love Honey,
Mhm.
on my Facebook about monster dildos.
Yes.
So rather than send it to my other half or or anything, I sent it straight to Emma because
Yes.
that's what we do here. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
what was that? There were two dragons, big gold dragon,
Yeah.
which I think they should call like the Dixonator because it is pretty much Ruby Dixon's
Yeah.
dragon in my head. There was a
Yeah.
big red one and one with the tentacles.
Yes, there was a tentacle one. Was that one? That
Is that the
one?
one you're telling me that was
It
nearly sold
wasn't.
out?
No, no, it was the swamp monster one. There
Oh,
was a
was it the
swamp monster
Swamp
one,
Thing?
which I have to say did not look
It
aesthetically
yeah,
pleasing.
as appealing as some of
I
the
don't
others.
know in
Yeah.
terms of whether there was stuff about it that would make it appealing in different ways for its
Well, yeah.
functionality, because I was just
Sound?
looking
Does
at
it
it
do
and
sound?
going, "Oh, that looks a bit grim."
Yeah.
But it was like sold out. There
Yeah,
was
yeah,
only like
limited
one
stock.
left. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, interesting." And then we were trying to figure out, weren't we, like, well, is that because they assumed everybody wanted the dragon ones,
So they
so they
ordered
got
more
lots
in.
in and
Mm.
didn't realize that there are a lot of people
A
reading
lot of
about
Swamp
swamp
Monster fans out
monsters?
there. Mm.
Yeah, but it's worth a look
Yeah.
just to see.
So I was having a think about this, and I don't know where it came from. What would you call a collection of these things? If it was your sort of go-to,
Oh,
what
because
would
we
you?
were talking
Yeah,
about having them like Funkos,
yeah,
weren't
yeah,
we?
on the shelf.
On
So
the
what would
shelf.
you call like a collection? Because I have two names that I came up with.
Okay, I I don't know off the top
Yeah,
of my head,
sorry,
but I
I've put you
want
on the
to
spot
hear.
now.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
my
so
brain's not going to work for that today.
my first one was a snatch. You could have a snatch of
A
dildos.
snatch of dildos,
Or my
yes.
second one, which made me laugh a lot, but my other half didn't get, was a clunge.
I can't. Yes,
Like that's the one I told you about.
yes. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
you know that, mate, yeah.
I know
Not
that.
just me then.
It's not just
So yeah, a
you.
clunge of monster
Oh
dildos.
man. Oh God. I think I'd go with the snatch though, because clunge is
Would
just a
you?
grim word.
It's just a horrible word
It's
to
a horrible word.
come and look at my clunge.
Yes. Yeah. No. But yeah, so in if you notice in the future, think random things
Yeah,
appearing behind
just on the
some,
shelves.
because some of them, there was one that was like a flame, wasn't there? I think. Was that, or
I
am I
don't know.
imagining? I
I
can't
know.
remember.
Was it? I saw the big red one.
There
I'm
was
trying to think if
certainly
I've.
one or two that you wouldn't have looked at and necessarily said, "Oh,
Oh,
that's what
that's
that
one of
is,"
those. Yeah.
as opposed to the things that sometimes aren't dildos, but really, really
Really
look
look
like
like
they
them.
are.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like with kids' pictures. There's always something questionable
Yeah.
when they're
That you can
very
go,
small, in
yeah,
particular. And you're like,
is it
is,
a,
is that?
mm,
And then they get a little bit older, and it is blatantly
it-
that because they're just
yeah.
drawing that.
Yeah. Because that, you get to that age and it's just penises everywhere.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
it. Yeah, when we were going on the train yesterday, um, that someone had just drawn one on the window, like huge, and like my daughter, she looked and she was just like, "Oh yeah," because she's just used to seeing them all like wherever there's a
Yeah,
surface at school, there's
they're
going to be a
everywhere.
penis drawn,
Mm,
basically.
yeah.
Don't know.
Mm,
Yeah. Mm. So yeah, that was more fun than one of the other topics we were going to talk about.
yes.
And then I also came across there was a post by someone. Oh, and I've forgotten who it is. Oh, that's terrible. I really need to hang on. Let me look it up very quickly
Okay.
because there was an author who posted about
Oh, yes.
the
Yes. The
oh,
ac
what's
was
it
it
the
the
acronym?
acronym?
Yeah, of
Yes.
her because everybody calls ACOTAR, obviously,
Yes.
to shorten it, apart from Jess, who calls it something else, which was why it was funny to me.
Yes, I call it a court of Guns and Roses.
And what's the other one, Jess?
Oh, a court of fisting.
Caught a fist in, yeah.
I missed
Um,
it. Frost and Mistin? Oh,
I
fisting.
don't
Yeah.
know. Oh
It's
no,
just
Mist and
fisting.
Fury.
I
But you
don't
can
know.
see why it like ends up
It's
contracting
fisting.
in the head. Yeah.
But I say
Um,
these things when I'm in shops. Somebody should hold me back.
that's it. It just slips out, doesn't
Oh,
it?
it
Because
really
it's
does.
like because you say it a lot in your
All the
head.
time.
Oh no, my friends isn't working. That's really annoying. I will look it up and I'll put it in the notes. I'll have
Yes.
to, right. I will put the actual author and her book in the notes. But the thing that she was talking about was that when she shortens the title of her book to the acronym, it comes out as AHOBAG,
It is the best
which is
thing
just
ever.
fun. And I just love that. And if I was seeing more of those acronyms like that,
Yeah,
rather
I would
than
buy the books for
I would
that.
remember better than a quart of this, a whatnot of that. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yes.
they're like da, 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 da. It's obviously a very popular way to title your
Mm.
book because it tells you exactly what type of book it is.
What, get on the tin? Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, it makes it very, very hard for me to remember, oh, I was interested in looking that one up, or oh, I've seen that one mentioned somewhere. But if they all
Hobag.
had like acronyms like a hoe bag,
We know
then
for
I would
sure.
totally remember.
Mm. So you can do that
I
with your
say as I've
books.
forgotten who this other one is, but I'm going to be able
Yeah.
to look it up, is the point.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to write that note for myself so it can go in the notes. There we are. So yeah, we need to future books, we need to work on our
Yeah.
acronyms of them. That's the most important thing. Doesn't matter if the title
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
No. Character names, plot. No. Just a perfect name.
Yeah. Right. Have you got anything else that you
I
want
was
to
going to
add
say,
to
I
that?
think my list is finished. I
That
plunged and I was done.
clutched and done. Well, yes,
That's
everyone's
definitely.
done with that. Okay, then. Right. So the next episode will be episode 7 next week, and we'll be having our guest author back
We will.
with Stephanie Burgess to talk to us about her recommendation, which is
Mm-hmm.
The Sorceress Transcendent by Casey Blair. So if you want to go off and find that and have a read of it before we have a chat about it, you can because it is in KU,
I
so
think it
it's
was
easy to
KU this
pick
time, yeah.
up, or you could
Mm.
literally buy it.
Yeah.
That's an option too. Um,
Remember to
yeah.
review.
Yes. Oh, I don't review. I mean, we do massive
Mm.
reviews, but I don't always review on the
On the
sites, and I
places.
need to. Do you? Do you always do it?
Not always do it, but no.
Yeah.
I try my best to.
Yeah, I must get better at doing that.
Hmm.
Um, yes. So we will hopefully see you next
See you
week.
next week.